So pinch pot creatures are, for one, like one of my favorite clay projects because they're just really fun and whimsical and silly. But it's also a clay project where you get to learn a lot of like the techniques and tricks and strategies that you use with clay. So pinch pot is basically like a tiny little bowl or cup. If you think about the little cups at the Chinese food restaurant, that's a pinch pot. So pinch pot creature is when you start with one of those, like this turtle shell is a pinch pot, and then you add details on. So they added the feet and the head and the tail and turned it into a creature, a a turtle. The shark also started as a pinch pot, and they kind of built up the jaw and the teeth and then added the fins and just added those details. So basically, you start with a little cup or bowl and then turn it into an animal, a creature, like anything alive, could be a person, I guess. Animals, make believe or real. This chicken started as a pinch pot, and you notice there's no opening at the top. Picture that Chinese food little teacup thing upside down. So it's hollow on the inside. Clay has to be hollow because otherwise it has holds moisture on the inside. If it's air dry clay, the inside never dries, and that makes it really weak and easy to break. And if it's ceramic clay, when you put that moisture in the kiln, which is the big oven that dries and hardens that clay, the moisture actually expands in the heat and that blows up. So pinch pots are really handy because it allows you to have a hollow space. And so with the chicken, they just turned that pinch pot upside down, added the head, added the tail, and made some texture for it to be a chicken. The pinch pot could also go kind of sideways. So this one, the opening of the cup or bowl is where the whale's mouth is, and then they added a tail on the back and the little bird on the top. So the pinch pot can really go in any direction, sideways, open up like a cup, can go upside down, depending on where you want the opening. You also can carve, so this is similar to the whale in that it started as a pinch pot and was laid on its side. The fins and tail were added, but then some holes were carved into it. So that is another option. Here are some more pinch pots. These ones are kind of like little plant pots. And the important thing to know about this one is that zebra's nose, that's hollow too. So it was added, it's almost like two pinch pots, one that's kind of a more traditional pinch pot shape and one that's kind of cone shaped. And then where they connect, there has to be a hole to let the air go into this zebra's nose. These ones are really simple little pinch pot creatures. Owl is more realistic, and then we got some that are very not realistic. They don't have to be realistic creatures, but these are pretty simple ones. It looks a lot like just a simple pinch pot cup with most of the details being painted on. This one is again with the pinch pot upside down, but there were little holes attached, and so with wire these feet were added. Also the feathers, there was a little hole left in the kind of behind of the bird, and the feathers kind of went through. So you have to plan ahead if you're going to attach things after the clay is dry, which is totally possible to do to add texture and kind of interesting things like this. You have to leave places for those things to attach, usually by leaving a little hole. This one is just super fun. This is a lot bigger and maybe didn't start as an actual pinch pot because pinch pot you use your fingers and actually pinch, but it's just another example of how the details were added to the outside of this cup or bowl like shape. And then here's a whole bunch. Again, some that are maybe more realistic. I don't know. They're actually, no, none of them are super realistic, but they certainly are fun. And these are the directions for when you start. When you are planning these, remember they're three-dimensional. So when you're doing sketching and planning, you have to decide what it's going to look like from the front, like where the eyes and mouth are, but also from the side and from the back. Because when it's three-dimensional, you need to think about three different sides.